And that's way into the power band in third, and 6,000, shift to fourth. And that's going too fast. And it just burbles and snaps and crackles behind me. Good morning, everybody. My name is Matthew Brady, and today I just wanted to show you my 2018 Ford Fiesta ST. For some reason, I'd been neglecting to make a video with this car. I've owned it for almost a year now. I think I got caught up with all my Miata videos and making videos with other people's cars that I just sort of neglected this one. This car is hilarious. I don't know if you guys have ever driven one, but a lot of people do know, about these cars. Roughly, from the factory, they make around 200 horsepower and 200 pound-feet of torque. The torque's available somewhere right around 4,000 RPM, and the horsepower closer to the red line at 6,000. What these cars really seem to do well is kind of offer a really big bang for your buck. They didn't cost a lot, brand new. Somewhere, in the range of $20,000. It really depended on whether you got these optional Recaro bucket seats or not. It was like almost a $3,000 option. But I got them and I love them. They hold you in really tight and they make it great for autocross. So yeah, let's go for a drive. There's no reason really to sit here and talk about it forever. I'll kind of mention some things during the drive and you guys can see what you think. All right, so first things I guess I'll mention is my car is not 100% stock, although it is mostly stock. I have a little shift extender on the shifter just to bring it up a little bit more where I feel like it's comfortable. I also have a muffler delete back there. I did that I hadn't even owned the car for more than about a month when I did that. So it's got no muffler. Effectively, it's almost a straight pipe from the downpipe back. There is a resonator in the middle that I don't know if it does a lot. I thought about taking that out too, just to make it more of a riot, but haven't gotten around to it yet. The other and probably most important thing is that I have some really meaty tires on the car. I bought these wheels from a friend of mine. They're Sparco 16x7 wheels, and they have Dunlop Dureza Z3 tires on them, which are in the 200 tread wear range. They're made for kind of for autocross, track days, stuff like that. They're very, very sticky, and on this car, which has a lot of mechanical grip to begin with, is front wheel drive, etc. You almost never upset the chassis of this car. So I'm gonna go down this, probably the tightest road in the area here, and you can kind of see what it's like. The exhaust gets a little boomy in the mid-range here. I'll see if I can show you that. It's a little, it does drone a bit. I don't mind it because, I don't know, I guess I'm a little more immature than some of you, but it's a lot of fun. And every now and then I do get the kind of deceleration backfire. Makes it sound a little like a rally car to me. You get a ton more boost noise coming out the back end, which is something that I really love to hear. Uh-oh, my backpack's flying around back there. There we go. Sorry about that. Even with these sticky tires, the amount of torque available for such a small front-wheel drive car, you will run into both torque steer and some kind of burning rubber up front. I do get a lot of wheel spin if I go full throttle in second gear, especially uphill. That was 6,000, and it just pulls. It pulls way harder than you would think a little bitty car like this should pull. There's a little backfire burble from the back. It's so fun, man. The steering in this car is just, it's insane. insanely responsive. You do get a decent amount of steering feel from the front, and just the car just goes wherever you want it to go. There's full throttle and 60. We just hit 60. And that's almost 90 right there. So, I mean, for such a small car, the thing scoots. Yeah, there's definitely sedans out there that'll still pull on this thing. But when you're driving it, it feels like it punches just so far above its weight. I mean, when you consider that other cars in this $20,000 to $25,000 price range include the Miata, the BRZ, the Honda Civic SI, this thing, it punches way above its weight. I owned a 2018 Miata as well up until recently. Rest in peace, Miata. But this thing pulled on it easy, no problem. I mean, from a 30 roll anywhere, basically, this car had more grunt. The only way that the Miata would have probably beat it would have been just, from a dig, just due to the rear wheel drive and this, this car being a little traction limited. But even then, it would have been very close. And, you can get these things used, which is probably the bigger bargain, for, $10,000 now with 60 to 80,000 miles. I mean, oh, look at this. It just digs into these corners, man. I don't know if there's anything on a really tight back road actually that could really get away from one of these cars. I think actually this would probably leave most Porsche 911s and Caymans and what have you in the dust on a road like this. Anything really tight, I mean, this just dispatches it with like total ease. It's so fun and it's addicting. Going into the downhill, probably don't want to go too hard into that. So, and the other great thing about this car is that while I can come out here and do this whenever I want, and I can go full throttle and just beat the crap out of it, it's also practical. Like, this thing will hold 4 people. I have gotten a set of 5 tires in the back of this car, while also getting all of our stuff in it for a weekend vacation. We went to Chicago with my girlfriend and I, and while I was there, I picked up a set of used tires, and it fit all of that and was, in relative comfort anyway, all the way back home. The only thing that was annoying on that drive was my exhaust after 3 hours of highway, but I still didn't mind it, It dispatches with corners so easily, and depending on what or who you are and how much, I guess, compromises you're willing to deal with, there's some things in this car that might not appeal to you. The suspension is very stiff for a stock vehicle. It's really stiff. Most people would probably kind of feel a little annoyed by it. If you're a car person, you might not care. It probably depend on how impractical and maybe how young you are. But we got a motorcyclist in front of us. I might just flip around. But something that actually really helps with that ride quality, I noticed, was switching tires. These tires that I have on it are 225 45 16s, whereas the stock tires were a little more low profile. I think they were a 205 40 17, which just seemed to ride a little rougher, and they also, they didn't have that much grip for a stock tire, so I was happy to switch out to these tires. It just has way more grunt than you think it should have. I drove a little Geo Metro around forever, right? It was roughly the same shape and size and everything. And that car, obviously, it's a Geo Metro. It was such a gutless wonder. And that's sort of what you come to expect from a tiny EconoBox hatchback. But this car just delivers, man. It delivers so much more than you could ever imagine for a tiny little hatchback. I'm just laying onto it in third gear, 6,000 RPMs. The body's kind of moving, pitching around on me because this road is super bumpy and uneven. But it handles it great. I've got tons of grip from these tires. The shift feel is good. All of your inputs, like everything you touch, feels good in this car. The steering wheel has a really nice wrap to it. This leather wrapping on it. It sits at hand well. These seats hold you. That's all. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This car it truly is great, and it's a perfect everyday sports car because you never really have to deal with any major compromises. It's not rear-wheel drive, so you don't have to worry about doing anything in the winter. It'll never oversteer on you. I mean, the rear end does get a little light coming into some of these hard corners, and that's actually, I think, a perk of this car. The chassis is so neutral, and it's a short wheelbase that it just rotates perfectly. From stock, these cars are autocross monsters. All you need to do is put good tires on them, and I can attest, I've run, similar times to the guys that are winning, getting the top positions at autocrosses in my first season ever trying it. I've only won one of them, and I didn't have a lot of competition on that day, but I was always close. I was always fighting for it, having a blast. The car's great. It's like the perfect first sports car, I think. I feel like this could make almost anybody into a car enthusiast, just based on the way the power band feels, and it just feels very special for such a small little car. It's endearing. Coming in hot here, off camber, got tons of grip. Gonna power through this corner. And that's way into the power band in third, and 6,000, shift to fourth. And that's going too fast. And it just burbles and snaps and crackles behind me. Oh, it's great. Alright, well, I'll probably leave you guys alone now. I'm getting near the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. You guys just let me know what you think of the Fiesta ST. I know, actually now, it's basically not going to be around anymore in the United States, which is unfortunate, because I think truly this might have been one of the best cars Ford's made in a long time. I think it's right up there with those heroes from the past, the Cosworths and all that stuff. I mean, thing's awesome. It's so much fun, and you can just I know a lot of that's the muffler delete, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say. The car, I don't have a lot invested in this car, and it makes me smile all the time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this. There's a lot more to come, and yeah, let me know what you think of this video, of the car, everything. Peace out. Have a good one.